We're recording, I hope.
All right. Hopefully this is working.
Hey guys, Woody on Exceptional Gamer. I'm here with the awesome FPS Kyle.
What's up?
And we're going to talk about COD killers. Here we
or
go.
the lack thereof.
Yeah, I thought there would be a COD killer this generation. I should say next gen. I've been saying for a while that with the new console, someone will take advantage of it better than Call of Duty, and they will kill it. That was the thought process. And there's still some stuff that implies it might be true, right? So I know you say there won't be a COD killer, but hear me out. Next gen of COD is going to work on the PS3, the Xbox 360, PC, and then of course the two next gen consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, it can't take advantage of some of the stuff. Heck, just being cross-platform means that it can't use dedicated servers in the cloud, right? If it was an Xbox exclusive like Titanfall is, then it would have dedicated servers because Xbox One releases with the cloud. Whereas the PS4, it's going to come sometime next year. What about a game that releases, has dedicated servers, that doesn't slip behind somewhat? What about a game that's not running on old consoles and is just completely devoted to taking maximum advantage of the new stuff?
No. To beat Call of Duty, you have to become Call of Duty. So, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are a perfect example of this. Pepsi isn't that different from Coca-Cola. That's why it's as successful as Coca-Cola is. They're like neck and neck. Maybe one of them's got 60% of the market share. Maybe the other's got 40%. Something like that. Yeah, you're not going to crush Coca-Cola. So looking for the next COD killer is like looking for the next Coca-Cola killer. It's too well established. It's too ingrained in the culture of gaming, and the marketing machine behind it is one of the biggest in entertainment. Period. You can't beat that. It doesn't matter. You could literally make a game that we all agreed was better. It would still get crushed by COD every year. It's not going to happen.
I swear, the thing that COD does right is your player is so smooth, and he moves fast. I think people don't realize, if you walk down the street a block in Favela in COD, it takes 40 seconds. That's not even sprinting. That's walking a block in Favela.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long? It doesn't take 40 seconds to walk a block in real life. You guys walking at 14 miles an hour and sprinting at 30. You know?
Yeah, he's a superhero.
He is a superhero. It is normal, especially because the skills level in COD, it feels like it goes up every year. Now, in every game, there's somebody jumping around corners, strafing sideways, curled up in a little ball, putting shots on target. Other games don't do that. I guess Halo did.
Yeah, Halo was, and you
also
saw Call of Duty.
Superhero.
Yeah, you saw Call of Duty break Halo down, and that's what was impressive. The reason Call of Duty beat Halo is because it was more accessible to a wider margin of players.
Cross-platform?
I played Halo.
Or easier to start with?
Both.
Okay.
So you can hop on a game of Halo. If I hopped on Halo right now, I would have to I'd have to get serious about it. I had to be very intense, staring at the screen, strafing, trying to get my headshots in, working hard. I can jump on Call of Duty and kind of mindlessly run into a room and mow everybody down because it's like muscle memory. Halo it just requires more skill, and it punishes you if you don't have that skill. Call of Duty doesn't. The most rewarding thing I do in Call of Duty is when, I clutch a search and destroy when it's 3 or 4 versus 1, or when I walk into a room and take out 3 guys. You can't do that in most other games.
It's true that the skill ceiling in COD is a little lower, right? We were just watching MLG Pros recently, and obviously those guys have found a way to burst through it. But you can be competent at COD with the lower skill level than I think it takes to be competent in some of the other shooters.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's knowledge-based. A lot of it is knowing the maps, the traffic patterns, and stuff like that. But it can't stay on top forever. Nothing does. MySpace was unbeatable. eBay looked unbeatable, and now here's Craigslist. I don't know if that's a great example. Something will have to knock COD off.
Maybe I think it's different. I really do. I think this is something that we're seeing. I think it's more of a Coke. I think this is something we haven't seen in entertainment before. So with movies, even if it's a good movie, by the third or fourth sequel, the Batman movies aside, by the third or fourth sequel, the quality is declining. People are getting burnt out on it. They're getting tired of it. But that doesn't happen with Call of Duty. Not with the mainstream audience that it
Wait
sports.
a minute. Are you sure? I think
Not with the mainstream audience. Now the guys on YouTube
are gonna fill with.
Yeah,
I'm tired of Call of Duty.
Yeah, because they're on YouTube. These guys. They're so tired of Call of Duty. To the people who are writing that comment, you're so tired of Call of Duty that in your spare time you go onto the internet and watch people talk about it. That's how burnt out you are. Not too burnt out at all. You're in love with the game, or you wouldn't be here. They're obsessed with it. They love it. They want to get better. They're willing to. They would go to a seminar to learn to be better if there were such a thing. There should be. I think, Hex, if you're listening, you need to set up a seminar. Maybe $20 to get in, fill a big auditorium, let the pros answer some questions. I think it'd be good. Get a big projection screen up there, teach some people how to play. Just give me 10% of the money. But Call of Duty's not gonna be beaten. What's the name of that new next gen game?
Titanfall?
Destiny.
Oh, that crossed my mind too. What if the COD killer isn't a shooter? What if shooters fall out of fashion? Is that possible?
Nope.
It's not?
It's not. No, because your main demographic is these 20-year-old dudes. We like shooting shit. We like literally killing the virtual representation of our enemies. Literally stabbing them and shooting them with high-powered assault rifles. We love it. So you could give me some magic spells, but I'm not going to feel the same way. You could send me in and I could beat them in a race car. It's not as personal. I want to get face-to-face and stab your character with my fucking knife, shoot him with a 12 gauge, and I didn't just beat you. I literally killed you in a video game world. I'm telling you can't beat COD. It's got too much going for it, and it is a great game.
So, to beat COD, so here, in business, right? Like Cisco took over the phone market from Nortel, but they didn't try to be a better Nortel than Nortel. Instead, they said, look, you're going to switch from that old system over to internet and IP-based phones. You beat it by changing the game and disruptive technology. If you don't just create a better product than someone who's dominating that product, you create a different product that people want instead. Can you do that and still be a shooter? Can you create a different product? Can you what if there was some shooter/wrestling game? I don't know.
I would be okay with them throwing in some extra stuff. See, we're talking about ways to add to COD. COD is your benchmark, and you're just thinking of ways to improve it at this point. When maybe my guy knows judo. Maybe when he's in close quarters, he does a throw. He drops his weapon to his 3-point harness, does a judo throw, pulls out his 45, and executes the guy. Maybe that's something that we can do now. If you approach a guy from behind. But once again, you're just building on the Call of Duty platform. It's just, it's there are ways, in my mind, if I'm thinking of like the perfect first-person shooter that if I were, if I were in control of all the money that Activision pumps into this thing, how I would design the game, how I would influence the developer. I start with Call of Duty and then I improve from there.
Yeah, that's what they do every year. I mean,
I don't start with like Rainbow Six and start adding my improvements. I don't start with Halo and start adding improvements. Gears of War, Battlefield, none of that. Battlefield feels clunky. Battlefield feels kind of like what it feels like to run in that gear. You strap on 80 pounds of gear, then grab yourself a big old assault rifle and go for a run. You move like you do in Battlefield, and it's not fun. And for me personally, it's not fun to do that in the game.
My thoughts on Battlefield, and I'll be fully honest, I want to say, as an arcadey shooter, it is clunky compared to COD, Mm-hmm. And I've played on PC, so it moves a little better there. I get you, I hear you, whatever, but it still doesn't move like COD. But it also has some higher highs, like when you grab a tank or a jet or start smacking people with a UAV, like that stuff can be more epic than anything COD offers.
It can. I've seen, especially some of the montages and little videos you see of people doing things that aren't necessarily meant to be done in that game.
Yeah.
I saw a guy the other day. He strapped C4 to his Jeep. I think it was the Jeep. He jumped the Jeep over a hill, and it collided with a helicopter midair, like in Die Hard 4 or Die Hard 5. and then he detonates it while he's standing on the ground, and he blows both vehicles up midair. Shit like that doesn't happen in COD.
I saw a guy, so his teammates would put C4, which doesn't hurt him, on a ramp, and then he'd like ride a motorcycle, hit the ramp full speed, and Kyle, he would get like a minute of airtime. Like he was up there with the jets in a motorcycle.
Oh yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
like that is. So I don't know. Some of the Battlefield has some really high highs, but the core gameplay is just not as sort of rapidy, shooty, superhero like. I don't. So you say if COD goes down, I don't think it's going to be this year. I don't see the COD killer on the horizon.
It's not this year. Totally not. I really think to beat COD, something has to happen where some of the people who are currently making Call of Duty right now are like fed up. They're like, no, this is bullshit. I'm tired of working for Activision, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, etc. Whichever one they have an issue with. I realize that one's a developer and one's a publisher. Mm-hmm. They have an issue with the bosses, and they're like, fuck this. We're going. We've got $80 million in venture capital. We're gonna go. We're building this. We got our own. We're building our own version of this engine. We're starting from scratch. We're taking the best pieces from every COD game that's ever been made. We're restyling it, rehashing it, improving all of this stuff.
You're describing Titanfall. Right? That's exactly what happened. You remember Modern Warfare 2 when they went 5 months without patching it because the company fell apart? The guys quit. They formed Respawn, and they wrote Titanfall. And Titanfall's better in some really significant ways. You know, it's using the cloud to do AI logic and all the non.
There's a lot of potential there.
They're going to have dedicated servers. They're doing everything so hot, but the trouble is maybe in 2015 it'll be the big game. You know, it'll release Christmas of 14 and kill it because by then the PS4 will have the cloud and support all the tech that they need to build that game.
It's possible.
Yeah.
For me, and there are different kinds of gamers. I think we're a little bit different than some people. You play several games, but I only play one shooter. I can't split my time from one shooter to another. There's no way that I can be the best Call of Duty player I can be and be splitting time with Battlefield or even on another console. I got to spend all my time on Call of Duty on an Xbox with the same controller. And if I practice 3 or 4 hours a day for about a month, then I get a certain edge where I don't know, my muscle memory gets to a certain level where that's about as good as I'm going to get. And I can't do that mixing in other games. So I'm going to pick one shooter, and it's going to be mine. It's probably Call of Duty. I'm going to get Titanfall, though. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I don't have it. It sounds like I've got to deal with Titanfall in this game. I don't. Who even makes it? Does EA make Titanfall? Are they publishing it?
I'm not sure. Oh,
I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. But yeah, but Titanfall's I say it's single platform. It's really PC and Xbox One, but I don't.
This is probably off topic. But Optic Merc just clutched a 3 versus 1. You got a 3-man spray and search and destroy.
You got a 3-man spray clutching S&D?
Yes.
Dude, let's wrap up the commentary and watch more MLG.
All right. So if you're listening to this, hopefully Optic won. We're go watch some of that. But is there going to be a COD killer this year? No. Is there going to be one next year? I don't think so, but you do? Possibly?
I would say this year it's tall order. The year after that, it's going to happen this gen or next gen. Maybe the holiday 2014, year of 2015. We'll see.
I hope you're right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.